Hello, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Just want to make sure that I'm coming loud and clear. I'm at a coffee shop, so just want to make sure you see me and hear me, hopefully. Okay, cool. So anyway, I just wanted to say about relationships here in the Philippines, marriage versus single life. I've been in Cebu City and Lapu-Lapu for about a month now. Been somewhat hanging out with Gio and some other guys. Some of them are single and some are married. And I see a big difference between married and single life. And just wondering what you all's thoughts are on that. Are you planning to get married when you get here, a long-term relationship, or are you planning on um, staying single? Hold on, guys. I need to do something real quick. I thought I did. The internet's kind of a bit. So yeah. So what is anyway? I'll go to the comments here, and let's see what you guys thoughts on that. Challenger says, Gio, send me here. Thanks, Gio, for that. Thanks for coming, Challenger. Howdy from Texas. Hi, Race. I used to live in Dallas, Texas, so a beautiful state. Unless Gio had said something, you would know. Yeah, I didn't advertise it. I've been really busy trying to find a new condo and making videos and doing my taxes and everything. So I just kind of did it on the fly. What's up, St. Paul's beer? Yeah, I'm not a saint for sure. There he is. You see us and hear me, so that's great. Another GU invite. Thank you for coming, Rabad. I think both Mia and Gio might be joining the stream later. Everybody's about to come in from Geo stream. That's cool. I'm already at 89, thanks to Gio. Hello, Paul from Plano, Texas. So what are you all's thoughts on this marriage versus single life, and where do you want to go if you get here? See, hear you, video quality is good. Okay, sounds great. I'm gonna go ahead, pass all the stuff here. The best strategy is to play it by ear. If you come looking to only date or only get married, then you may screw up an opportunity you didn't expect to land in your lap. It's kind of the way I look at it. I kind of look at it, you come here and just take it easy for the first couple of years, meaning date, and don't make any commitments is my now is this so I'm at a coffee shop, Tom and Tom's, and the internet's good here, but for some reason it's freezing sometimes, so sorry about that. Single is better life here in the Philippines because so much choice. That is true. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about, the choices here. I mean, if you're in somewhat okay shape, I mean, I work out, and some of my friends, they work out, and you don't drink every day, and you go, it's so easy to meet women here. It's unbelievable. It's you don't believe it till you get here, actually. And it's the amount of beautiful women here is, I mean, after coming from the US and coming here, it's just like landing in a candy store, really. Your eyes almost pop out of your eyeballs, eye sockets, I mean, because there's so many beautiful girls. But there are advantages of being with one person. And that's, of course, if you meet the right person, in my opinion. the jive you have between you and her, the trust you have between them, and there are advantages. So why is this marriage been there, done that, and got the T-shirt? No more for me. Steve Morris says that, and he says hi Steve. I'm just gonna do a bit here like that. Yeah, I can see that. I was married. I was married twice, and sorry, it's an impromptu thing. I was married twice, and marriage has its advantages. And I'm not necessarily talking about marriage. I'm talking about long-term girlfriends also. But marriage, yeah, it's off the table for me too, except for a couple of things that I might get back to. Let's see. David says, I might get steady girlfriend, but marriage is not in the vocabulary. Yes. And I'm sure I've covered this before, but the reason I'm against marriage is it's got to do with, of course, I've been married twice, but I also see what happens in marriages. People tend to start to slack off, meaning a woman might stop working out, a guy might stop being the best he can be, mental to a relationship, actually. Tell us what difference you see. Well, I see guys that are married here. They tend to be, how shall I say this, more chilled, more at-home bodies. Maybe go out with the guys drinking, while the guys who are single are more adventurous, ready to go places, obviously, because they want to meet girls and chicks. And they seem, to be honest, the single guys seem to have more fun than the married guys. I mean, just from an external observation. But I think you come to some point in your life where you meet a person that really means a lot to you, and you want to be that person because the chemistry is so good, and you don't want to lose that person, you know? So in the end, you marry them or stay with them long term. Marriage long term to me is the same deal, except the marriage, of course, is worse because you get the state involved and there's a lot of downsides if things should go wrong. So, and there's competition anxiety and all that. Somebody had mentioned on Gio's live stream, The Rational Male, and it's actually a book I've read, and it's a very, very good book. There's another book by Richard Cooper called Something Alpha. Richard Cooper has also a YouTube channel, and it's very, very good YouTube channel, and he's somebody worth following to understand the mindset of the female and the female imperative and all that. So, The Rational Male, definitely recommended by me for sure. I've read it twice actually. Brown Al Bundy, sent by Gio. Thanks for coming, Gio. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's see, why are they not calling in? Mia was supposed to call in today, but nothing. She says, wait, there's something wrong with StreamYard. Okay, let me send a link again to them. So I'm going to copy that to the clipboard and then see why. Maybe. Okay. Let me send it to Gio as well in case he wants to come into the live stream. So there we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, so marriage, never again. Have learned that I'm vulnerable to psychotic women. You sent me to psychotic women. That's a good one. Seriously, you know, I found that typically to avoid these psychotic women, as you say, is a man needs to set the frame right at the beginning. If you set the frame and they're not into your frame, you just get rid of them. So that's the way I look at it anyway. But I've seen psychotic women here, and she was dating one of my friends, and she was cray-cray, man. She was cray-cray. Manny says, hello from Massachusetts. Hello, Manny. How are you? David Fisher. I've had many long-term relationships over life, and they all go downhill after various time frames. Wondering how long is the longest relationship you've had, and at what point did it start going downhill? Like after how many years? But you have a good point there, David, because you think about it, when you first meet somebody, there's a lot of excitement, right? You're exploring each other, you're telling jokes, you're telling stories. But after a year or two or three, I mean, how many times are you going to tell the stories? There's no new stories, there's no new jokes. It becomes maybe kind of boring unless you do stuff together and go places and have adventures and create new memories. But you have a really good point there. Most everyone just came from Gio's vlog. You'll have to thank him later. Yeah, I'll buy him a coffee, man. Let's see. I've been living here in the Philippines for 8 years now, and my GF have been together 5 years. The plans is to get married now. Michael, that's really good, because a lot of people jump into marriage after a few months or 1 year. You've been with her 5 years. You've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. So that's a really way. That's a perfect way to approach it. The way Michael did. And if after what is it, 5 years, you're still in love and having fun. She's a keeper. You don't want to lose her. Gio invite. Thanks, Gio, for inviting Mike. It was hello from Cebu. Well, it's really hard to say when this place will open up, but hopefully with the vaccines coming up. And it seems the amount of vaccines they're producing is growing exponentially. Like, what are they at now? 2.53 million shots in the US per day. So they started off at like 500,000. And that's only a couple of months ago. Mia's going to come on board. So
Hi.
and I'm going to go to Steve Morris's comment here. Committed relationship, no problem. No need for risk of marriage. Okay, Mia's with us, but she seems to. Or is it me?
I think it was you.
It was me? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So Steve said, committed to relationship, no problem. No need for risk of marriage. Good point there, Steve. What are the risks with marriage? One could say, well, the risk of losing a lot financially. There's the risk of getting the state involved. There's a lot of risks. And here in the Philippines, there is no divorce except for annulment, and that can be very, very costly. And with annulment, she has to go along with the annulment, I believe, for it to work. So Mia keeps cutting out. The internet here in the Philippines has been spotty these last few days. I don't know. Somebody said there's actually the PLTD connection. They have a main trunk to Singapore, and there's something going on there. So Mark Stone is a Geo invite. Welcome to my stream, Mark. Please don't forget to subscribe. Ray says, marriage for me. My hot 27-year-old and I are moving to Mactan as soon as it opens up. Goodbye, Dallas. And hello, Mactan. That's where I used to live. I used to live in Frisco. I'm sure you know where that is, Race. I used to have my house there in Frisco. So sold now and minimalized my lifestyle. So enjoying this life instead. Hope to see you soon, Race. And I would advise caution on marriage, especially if you haven't been with this 27-year-old. Live with her a couple of years before getting married, man. That's just me. But I'll be 49 when I arrive, if they ever open up. Never married, but if I find the unicorn, I won't rule it out. Mia seems like a good one to consider for you. You hear that, Mia?
Yes.
I think she's frozen.
I am not frozen.
I don't know what's going on her side. I hope I'm not frozen. Marriage, where the rich woman at? Yeah, that's funny that you say that. It's always women that date up and never men. So I don't know. Mia seems to have issues with her internet because she keeps freezing. I'll tell you what I won't do, which is bring a girl back to the US, that's for sure. Well, I can tell you personally, Mark, I've had that experience and I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly there. I met a girl here in 2007, 2008, and we got married in the US. I think I came here 3 times to see her. She was a cutie, she was nice and everything. But the US did change her slowly but surely. And the time it changed her the most is when she made a friend with a Filipina that was divorced, and she was a horrible girl, and I should have done something. Instead, yeah, I've always been live and let live. If you want to leave, leave. It's been always my mentality. And she left, and luckily for me, because I'm having the time of my life here, and I wouldn't be if I was in the US still working. So it all ended good. So yeah, and luckily I had a prenup also, so it all ended really good for me. So anyway, yeah, it's taking someone there. I'm not saying this always happens, because I also had a friend in Houston, and their age gap was like 40 years, and they're still together. And she adores him. They travel all over the world. He used to be a pilot, so he he's got this free pass, so he can travel anywhere in the world. So they have a really good time together. So I think it depends on the Filipina. It also depends, if they get there, do not let her make friends with other Filipinas that are divorced. But what I've heard, I think maybe a committed relationship, but not living with her. Help her out some to increase level of life, but never marriage. That you have a really good point there, because I think if somebody moves in with you, there's certain expectations here in the Philippines. And also, if somebody moves in with you and things don't go well, as I've seen with some of my friends, it's very hard to break up, and it's very hard to get rid of that person unless you live in a condo with security and all that. So, because you must remember, depending on that person you're meeting, if what lifestyle they're coming from. But if they're coming from a poor lifestyle, you're really, really elevating their lifestyle. They might be living in a bamboo house, no air conditioning, uh, mice running around, ants everywhere. And then you go to aircon, you go to Wi-Fi, Netflix, lots of good food every day, coffee shops, and then you expect them to go back to the old living. Of course, they're going to try to hold on as much as they can to what they have. And now, some girls don't, but some do. And you got to be a bit careful, because they can start saying things that never happened, and so on. So you have to really vet that person before you let them move in. Really, really well. Geofan here, David Keaton says, Geofan here, watching you now for the first time. Tell us a little about you and the beautiful Philippines. Well, I'm not going to go through everything about me, but I was an engineer in the Philippines. In the US, I was working in oil and gas, and I had a non-compete when I changed jobs, and due to that, I had to take a little vacation, call it that. So I was actually planning to go back to work, but then I decided to stay. And then COVID happened, and I decided, hey, I'm staying. However, if a job does come up that I like, I might go back to work still. But I think I've decided to take Mia with me if I do go back to work. And then, of course, as you know, I have to take her back to the US. Carol, how are you?
Babe, can you hear
I don't
me?
know. Mia's Wi-Fi seems to be really horrible.
No, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, but you're freezing all the time. Yeah,
Really?
I can hear you.
You're freezing.
Geo Condo video was good with your camera. Just finished watching him. Yeah, the GoPro. Yeah, it's a very nice. I'm actually considering a condo there. I've looked at 3 different what do you call it, towers, and each tower, it's funny. Each one has an advantage. Like one has a really good pool, a really nice gym. That's the first one I looked at. But the condo itself is a bit smaller. The second one has a tennis court. The gym is not that nice. A nice pool also. They all have nice pools. And the third one, the one Geo has, actually the condos are a bit nicer, a bit larger. The gym is in between the two different towers that I mentioned earlier, and it's a nice one. I'm actually talked to a person yesterday, and his condo is on the 14th floor, and he said yes to 22, including fast Wi-Fi. So I'm looking at that. I'm also waiting on an offer I made for one on a different tower on 18K. So I think a decision will probably be made today or tomorrow on which condo I'm going to live in. Might be time to upgrade your internet provider. Actually, I'm at a coffee shop, and usually the internet is good here. So I'm wondering if there's something with my laptop, because the same thing happened when I was at home. I might check my drivers and do all that after this live cast and see what's going on here. To avoid the marriage trap, it's best to get snipped before traveling to the PI. You know what? If you hang on, guys, I'm going to try to change. There's two different Wi-Fis here. There's a 1 and 2. I'm going to try to change to the 1.
She's still there? Took him so long. Someone says I gotta start talking. What's the topic all about? Wait, let me read from the top. So you guys are talking about marriage then? I can't really say anything about marriage because I haven't experienced any marriage at all. So
Okay, guys, thank you.
is it okay now?
Yeah, I changed. I hope so. I think I lost some of the comments, so sorry about that. I'm gonna start at the first one I see. You can't get legally divorced in the Philippines. If something goes wrong, you're really screwed. Yes, there are annulments, and those annulments cost a lot of money. So that's one of the reasons you really don't want to get married here in the Philippines. Long term, as long as you make a commitment to the girl, and you can go through all the vows and everything without actually doing the state thing where you do it stately, but you can do the whole marriage, the whole people coming saying congratulations. You can even wear a ring and everything, right? But don't get the state involved.
Let's do that. Just kidding.
Name 3 things that are better being with a long-term GF, or God forbid, a wife, compared to being single. 3 things. Okay, I would say you have someone you can trust. I mean, assuming if you're doing long-term, thank you. If you're doing long-term, it's got to be a person that you really like. So assuming you really like and trust her, the thing would be that you have somebody that you can trust. If something happens to you, they're there by your side. Even if something bad happens, they're there by your side. That's a good thing. Another thing is you have someone you can feel you can communicate with, and you can chill, you can watch Netflix, you can do stuff together and have a certain chemistry that you might not have there the first time you meet people. A third thing, I'm trying to think of a third thing. Babe, help me out here. What's the third thing? Okay, that's 2 for you, buddy. That's gonna be enough.
No, continue, babe. Continue.
No, that's 2. That's all I could think of on the fly. So sorry about that. I only got 2 there. I've never been married, but I'm open to it. However, she has to be an amazing woman woman for me to marry her. I completely agree. Marriage is such a commitment that that person has to be, there has to be something different about them than the other people you've dated. There has to be a certain type of chemistry. Maybe she makes you laugh a lot. Maybe you guys are both into a certain hobby, or like maybe you're both very into art and you love talking about art. You love going to museums, and again, that's so important that you have this kind of camaraderie with you and that, the other person.
Chemistry.
Chemistry, yeah. I was married for 25 years, and almost overnight it seemed that marriage went south. No more marriage for me. Maybe a good relationship, and that's it. I wonder. Usually there are signs, man, but we as men tend to miss those signs because women are very. What's the word I'm looking for here, babe? Very.
What?
Their signals are not clear. Their signals are not clear.
Hinting.
It's like a, yeah, kind of hinting. They're not direct. So, yeah, and I got a lot out of reading The Rational Male by Rollo Tommaso. I got a lot of that from reading that and understanding the
Then I need to
psychology
read
of
that
women.
also.
And I kind of understood it, but I didn't quite. When you read that book, it all cements, and you're like, oh, that's why she did that. And you look at your past relationship, oh shit, that's why that happened. So that's a really good book to read, and I'd recommend it. Really, really recommend it. I know somebody recommended it on Gio's live stream, but I want to second that. You are absolutely right about things changing after marriage happens. You stay together by choice and work on keeping the relationship alive since you are not stuck. Yes, that's exactly right. And I think most people who are married, not all, but most people who are married can attest to that. And what do they say when in the West, when the women get married, they put on like 20, 30 pounds, It's like they just stop working out and start eating, It's so, yeah. I think I think I completely agree with that because I've seen it. It's happened to me in my marriage, and I've seen it in other people's marriage. Once they get married, once that ring goes in the finger, it's like people stop trying. And if you're together with a person, you have to try because there's competition. There's what they call competition anxiety, and I think Mia can attest to that. She's always worried that there's some girl's going to snap me up, so she knows she has to be the best she can be. I know there are guys that want Mia, so I have to be the best I can be. I'm not going to go gain 50 pounds and become a fat slob and drink beer every day. I know I have to work out. I know I have to stay on top of my game, right, Mia?
Yes.
The old adage, 3 rings in marriage: engagement ring, wedding ring, and then the suffering ring. Yeah, the suffrage. Yeah, I mean, I've seen good marriages, but they are far and few in between, and they seem to be getting more and more seldom. Yeah, so especially in today's environment. I read The Rational Male years ago. It literally saved me from a horrible life-changing mistake. Everyone should read it. I completely agree with you, White Dog. And not only should they read it, if they've read it several years ago, they should reread it because you forget that stuff. So that way it stays in the forefront. Are you going to bring Mia to Cebu? Well, it depends. Is she a good girl or not?
Baby, I'm a good girl. What have I done wrong? I never did anything wrong.
I'm just joking. Yeah, it's
He's gonna come back here
it's
and he's
she.
gonna help
I'm
me
gonna
with
go back. Well.
with the
Let's wait.
packing.
Slow down. As long as there's no PCR test to go back, which, as far as I understand, if you don't go directly to Dumaguete, but if you go to like what's that place
Sibulan.
called? Cebulan, you don't have to, which is kind of crazy, but that's just the way it is. Um, I'm at 178 on watching, so that's a new record for me. Let's make it 200, guys. I'm 62, seen it all and done it all. Married twice, so a third time won't kill me. Yes, but it's what's that phrase? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. Isn't that what they say, George? Joke. Just make sure you vet her really, really well for several years if you do get married. If you find a girl that you find excites you, stay as long as the excitement remains. Once married, so much harder to walk away, especially here in the Philippines. Life is short if we all have a right to be, and we all have a right to be happy. Completely agree with you, David. Now, I talked earlier about I would get married on a certain condition, and the only condition I would get married on is like, for example, if I did get offer a job in the States or in Europe, I would actually have to be married to bring Mia over. So that's the only reason I would get married. And of course, I'd get married under certain conditions. And me and Mia have talked about this. So it would reduce my, what shall I say,
Suffering.
chances of getting hurt financially. No, it reduced my chances of getting hurt financially with a prenup and so on. So you have to protect yourself as a man. If you've read The Rational Male, you understand this. And Mia is a really fantastic girl, so I do trust her.
I am
But
fantastic.
like I said, people do change, and I know this. So I'm taking a risk, but it's a risk. So that's the only way I would get married is if I'm moving abroad to work and I've decided to work more than, let's say, 3 years, 2 or 3 years, then yes. Because just to bring her to the US is a 1-year ordeal. So, and I do want to go back to work. I really do. So if the opportunity is there in the oil industry for me, I probably would go back to work. How long I would work is questionable since I've been out for 2.5 years and kind of enjoying the retirement. So 3 rings, lol. Ring of the marriage, not ring of the Lord's, ring of the marriage. I agree with Gio on her having at least a part-time job. I need my alone time and she can give her family her money if she wants. And that's a really good point. You know, a lot of the relationships here in the Philippines has often becomes about money. And I've on my videos and my live streams, I warn about this. Don't make the relationship about money. I've seen people in the U.S., heard people in the U.S. sending money to a girl they'd never met, $300, $400, $500 or more, and they consider themselves in a relationship with that girl. I don't want to be the bringer of bad news, but if you've never met that girl, you're not really in a relationship. You know nothing about that girl. I mean, you know what she wants to present to you, and she's presenting her absolutely best side if you're sending her money because she's dependent on you. So the best thing to do if you are sending money to a girl is to say, you know what, I'm not sending you any more money. See her reaction. Don't send money for 2-3 months. Is she still willing to talk to you? Is she still around, or does she move on? If she moves on,
Is he freezing?
you know what type of girl she is. So
Is he really freezing at all? Oh God. Okay, I think I'll take over. Ow.
can you hear me? Okay, I'm back here. I agree with Gio on having at least a part-time job. I need alone time. Yeah, alone time is really important, and I've me and Mia have discussed this, and that's one of my worries actually. When she does get here, it's going to be harder to have alone time since
It's
she
not
could
gonna
go
be
back to her
hard,
family
babe.
when we
You're
lived
just
in
gonna
Dumaguete,
drive
but
me in the
that's something
bookstore.
me and her will have to work. Leave you in the bookstore. I mean, alone time for a couple of 3 days, babe. But that's something we'll discuss when you get here.
3 days?
What are you? What are your takes on Philippine? What are your takes on Filipinas who have had previous relationships with foreigners that did not go well? Well, I would love to talk to the foreigner. Number one, not rely on her story because, you know, as I said, women always present the best story, and so do we. So it depends. Is it one foreigner, two or three or four? Now, if you start talking two, three, four foreigners before you, I mean, she's a serial foreigner dater, and I'd be careful and hesitant. There's a reason why she's not with them, right? But it also depends on the foreigners. Maybe they just wanted some fun, and that's all. It's real simple. Why does a man need a piece of paper from the government to approve a relationship? The paper will cost you all your dollars. Yeah, that is exactly right. What is the point of having the government in your relationship? So it's either me or Mia freezing all the time. It's like frozen. I've been single for over 30 years. The only way I would consider marriage is after a baby is born and after a DNA test, I'm assuming. Yeah, well, if you've been single for 30 years and enjoyed the single life, it's very hard to uh, make that kind of commitment. There's a reason you've been single for 30 years, I'm assuming, because you've enjoyed it. Is there a cinema where you live now? Um, where I live now, yes. I'm not at Newtown yet. I'm closer. I'm in Lapu-Lapu, closer to the bridge that goes to Cebu proper. There's a cinema here, but they're all closed because of the pandemic. Anyway, you know what? I found that I go less and less to movie theaters because buying a 55-inch, 60-inch screen now is so cheap, and just sitting at home making your own popcorn, watching, and you can download all the movies you want anyway. So, but still, once in a while, I do like to go. Yeah, guys, smash the like button. David says, good divorce joke, but partly true. A man was held at gunpoint by a robber. The robber demanded that the man to show him where his money was, so he gave the robber the address of his ex-wife. Yeah, it's so true. I've heard people here also. There's one guy I know, Norwegian. I mean, he married this Filipina, built a house, lost a lot of money, and now he lives in a small, apartment and borrows money month to month. So there's horror stories here too, man. So be careful. Be real careful here too. Hello from North Carolina. Hello, Stephen. Wandering Doc agrees. Paul, 450 that condo you looked at sounds pretty damn good. Yeah, I've actually looked at two condos. I've looked at a third condo yesterday, and I might be going to a fourth condo today. The the third condo. The third condo I'm looking at today. Is it third or fourth? I looked at so many, but it's in the same tower as Geo's, but it's on the 14th floor. And the reason I like those, they're a bit larger, and it's also on the 14th floor, which will mean it's more quiet. So I'm going to go take a look at that. And actually, I get high speed internet fiber, and we agreed on a price of 22. So I'm going to go look at that today, hopefully. You asked how long? 3 marriages, 3 years, 18 years, 17 years. Tell all my children never get married. Yeah, well, it's strange why I read about people getting divorced after 25, 30 years. It's like, where you're not happy for 25, 30 years. I don't know. My longest marriage lasted about 8 years. So, hi Mia, when do you go to Cebu? I'm kind of behind here because Mia is offline now. I'm an established mid-30s, financially free. There's very little marriage can offer me and a lot of downside. Yep, agreed. I think the consensus is here, marriage is a lot of downside. Eventually, I want children. After having them, I'll consider marriage a few years after. That's a good plan if you want children. And actually, having kids here in the Philippines is the way to go. Um, Hiring a yaya to help you out is cheap, and children here are wonderful. And Philam couples that have kids, those kids are super cute. And kids here are also super respectful. So, is there any real risk in PI to marriage? What are they entitled to if you split up? Why bother with an annulment? Okay, that's a lot of questions there, but yes, there is risk here. If you put all your money in a house and so on, and you get divorced, she's got her family, she's got her friends. They're going to kick you out of the house. I've seen that happen over and over again. The guy never ends up with the house. Maybe 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 100. So there's that. You can lose that. Do you really need an annulment? No, but there's laws against having a relationship if you are in a marriage. So people can blackmail you, and there's a lot of downsides to it. So just don't get married, man. Don't get married. Not here in the Philippines. Marriage is a contract. Since when do you need a document to be happy with another person? You can like and enjoy being with more than one woman or man. Stay free in case it goes sour. Yeah, and that's what I've told Mia as well. I've told her, you know what? As long as you're happy and I'm happy, we're together. If you're not happy, leave. If I'm not happy, I'm leaving, So that's the kind of deal we have. So I've told her that, and I think she respects that. We can hear and see Mia. Once again, the issue is on your side, Paul. Well, it seems to be better now. It's up and down. I think actually it might be my laptop. I'm going to do a check on my laptop later. I have 2 sugar mamas, Chinese Japan girl in Hawaii and Taiwanese girl in Hawaii. They have spent 5-figure on me each. Easy. Nice. Try finding that here. Good one. Marriage would generally be very important to a young Filipina and her family. Yeah. To the girl, the marriage is important because, why? Because women have a lot to gain from marriage because they always marry up. They never marry equal or down. So yeah, marriage is important to them because they have a lot to gain, while we as men have a lot to lose. Never take Filipino to the West except on holiday. I don't know. For the most part, but there are exceptions to that rule. Jenny, the Morena, says, hi, Paul. Hi, Jenny. Yeah, I had a crazy PNAGF before. We would drink at the bar, then go back home, and being drunk, she would get angry at me and accuse me of liking the waitress, then got on top of me and choked me out. Yeah, there are crazy girls here. Crazy jealous and crazy. Prenup, good move. Thank you. Nitban, does prenups work in community states like California? I lived in Texas, so I'm not an attorney, so I wouldn't like to comment, but I know people take out prenups in California as well, but you'd have to get together with a lawyer or do the research on Google. But I think prenups are valid everywhere. But the thing with prenups, you have to be careful. When you sign a prenup, she has to have a lawyer that are independent of you. You also have to videotape it, and there's some other aspects of a prenup that you have to make sure are in place so that she cannot say she was under duress when she signed it. For example, you don't want to sign it a couple of days before the marriage, at least 30 days before the marriage, and so on. I lived there 6 years myself, best dating life. In the Philippines, yeah, I don't think there's another place like the Philippines. Seen many failed marriages in Australia, yeah. Any place that feminist rules, there's going to be a lot of divorces, a lot of miserable relapse, and a lot of misery. 99% of Filipinas dream of marriage and kids. You might convince some to forego that, but they won't stop wanting it and you would essentially be swimming upstream. True, but if you get into relationships and you say, this is my criteria to be in this relationship long term, and she says yes, then she has said yes to your to what you want. And if she says yes and doesn't mean yes, that's on her, not on you. So as long as you are straight with your cards, if she isn't with her cards, that's her issue, not yours. Not all women need expat money, just need to figure out what kind of girl you're dating. That's really true. And the less dependent they are on you, actually, the better, because then you know it's true love and not kind of a dependency type of love. And you would love Kowal 8-2. I don't know what that is. 8-1 here. 8-1 here. Not sure what that means. Do you have any kids from your marriages? No. I never had a kid, and I'm glad I didn't, because I'd be paying child alimony right now, and I'm glad I don't have to. But I did have a stepson, and I loved him to death. He was a great, great kid. You know, I do love kids, and I'm still thinking about it. Maybe I'm getting on the old side, but I have to make that decision before I reach 55. Once I reach 55, if I don't have kids, that's it, I'm done. Paul is spitting very valuable info. It takes decades of experience to learn this wisdom. Thanks, Wandering Doc. Several years of experience and several divorces later, so I had to learn it the hard way. And several books later, The Rational Male, and a book written by Richard Cooper, Alpha something. You know what? I'll look it up while I'm talking. See, on my Amazon Kindle, I've got it. No, I don't have Amazon Kindle on. But I will look it up while we're live streaming here. And I'll tell you. I'll put a link to it. I'm a Geo fan, Jenny De Maria. Well, you become a Paul fan too soon, hopefully. They're talking about parts of Hawaii. The connections are not great. Well, this is the Philippines, so 8 women to every man. Where is that? That's in what is that in the Philippines? You mean for every eight Filipinos for every foreigner? Paul's Wi-Fi is sketchy. Mia is clear and not freezing for me. Well, she's gone. I don't know why. Let me messenger. Oh, they just had a brownout in Dumaguete. I'm glad I'm not in Duma. So video is good. Mia's not freezing. Mia's gone. They have a brownout, so she won't be coming back. I have 3 rental condos on Oahu. Begin my real estate journey there. Need to check out Canal ASAP. American girls in Hawaii are also great. Really? I don't. Compared to the Philippines, I don't think so. Is there a good gym in your area? Okay, Daryl. So I'm moving to Newtown, and there's a gym. Good. I would call it good enough, not good. Mia is great, Paul. It's you who are freezing. Not anymore. God, I'm way behind. Sorry, guys. Mia's connection is good. I'm going to skip those. Thanks for bringing Mia. Classic Morena beauty. Well worth watching. Yeah, they just had a brownout, so I think he's trying to get an upgrade on Mia. I think she's hard to upgrade, buddy. She's one of a kind. She really is. Wait till after April 15th. No quarantine then. After April 15th? I think there'll still be quarantines. I've been pulling out successfully since 2003. If you've had something to lose, you'll never slip up. Okay. That's not a very safe method. Let me put it that way. But hey, accidents do happen. Pull out way ahead of time, man. That's all I can say. Start talking, Mia. Hey guys, Mia's not coming back. They've got a brownout, so sorry about that. Probably do another live cast soon and try to include her. God, I lost my position now. Damn it. Let's see. Is the Philippines 6 month off non-stop rain followed by 6 month run? No, it's not really. It really isn't. The weather here is actually pretty nice, and when it does rain, it just rains for 30 minutes an hour. Sometimes even just 5 or 10 minutes, and then it stops and the sun peeks out again. Now we do have some months where it rains more, but it's like this last rainy season, it rained a lot. And then it could rain all day, but no, when it rains here, it's almost like a blessing. I love it. Who is he? Hot woman talking? I don't know what that means. Marriage versus single life as an expat. Yeah, it all depends what you like. I think most people actually enjoy the single life when they come here more, since they don't have that opportunity in the U.S. to meet those type of women. Believe me, everything I say here, I've said to me already. I'm an open book, so I don't try to conceal anything or my thoughts from Mia or tell her something that I don't think. She knows exactly. She knows I'm red pilled. She knows the books I read. She'll probably end up reading them herself to understand me better. She's an avid reader, so. Uh, $6,000 US dollars for annulment. Wow, that's expensive, huh? I think an annulment is cheap. The Philippines compared to divorce in the US. Well, it depends what type of divorce. If you have a prenup or not. So, um, sorry guys. See, 6K is peanuts. It's cheap, yeah. That is cheap compared to the U.S. But I mean, you have to remember things in the U.S. versus here. Here, I mean, people here make $6, $7, $8 a day, working 8 to 10 hours. So I mean, you have to understand that the life here is way, way different. How old was the woman you bring from the Philippines to the U.S.? She was 20. Why would anyone take a woman to any Western country to brainwash and destroy? Look at the statistics of divorce here. Yeah, one learns by one's mistake. Well, I'm sure if I take Mia, it means I haven't learned. But you know, as long as I have a prenup and she wants to leave, she can leave. I mean, there's like I tell her, there's a million other women. I've told her, and I've told her this. I've told her if she's not happy at any time, that she can leave. I mean, I'll be sad that she's leaving because I do care and love her, but I don't want to be with a person if they're not happy. And there's a million other women, and I'll find someone eventually. So I was married to a Filipino 14 years. However, when I left the Philippines to work, he replaced me and used my money that I sent him. I get an annulment that lasted for 6 months. So you were married. Yeah. Well, sad story, man, but that's what happens. I was planning to move to the Philippines until I learned it was 6 months of nonstop rain. I don't know where you get that from. It's not 6 months of nonstop, Brian. That's not the case. Jenny, you're Colombian. Unless she's a billionaire, I'm not interested in marriage to any woman. So, if a woman has 1 billion, you gotta have 2 billion to marry her. That's just the way it works. That Brian walk. Feminine and sweet women make up for an oppressive heat and rain. Women are fickle. Yeah, they can be. They really can be. It cost me 200,000. It's a lot, but it's worth it. 200,000 Filipino peso. I'm assuming you're talking about. So that's 4,000 US dollars. Yes, that's what I thought. Ain't easy to find 3 things you love to be married. What about 3 things of just having a girlfriend off and on? That cannot be said since I'm still dating. No, seriously. Um, well, of course, if you're single, there are a lot of advantages. As a man, all men like variety. So you have a variety. You have the excitement of meeting new girls. You have also the excitement of being able to travel, do whatever you want, whenever you want, without any commitment. You wake up in the morning, make your own coffee, make your own plans. You don't have to take any consideration to anybody. So yeah, there's advantages and disadvantages, whichever you choose. And the thing is, for me, to give up the single life here, that partner has to have something really, really good. I mean, I'm not just talking about a sexy girl. I mean, she's got to have something at the top of her head. She's got to have something that really entices me to stay. And for me, Mia does. So I've lived both lives here. So what would you prefer, live alone or with GF? What do you see pros and cons? Yeah, I kind of just answered that. So I'm a Filipina, mate. So I think Jenny the Morena is a Filipina living in the US, working in the US, I believe. 200K, what the fuck? Auntie Uber, I think she meant 200,000 pesos, not dollars, but she'll correct me if I'm wrong. Um, if you're going to have a GF, it's best to have 3, 4 more options. Yeah, I guess. Always good with options. You keep them straight that way. Yes, I do, Tony. I do live in the Philippines. I live in right now living in Cebu, actually in Lapu-Lapu, which is just an island just outside of Cebu, where the airport for Cebu is. I work here in SG, but my hometown is Lapu-Lapu. Okay, good. You can trust your partner, but the family steps in and only eyes a supposed rich foreigner, and the struggle begins. You know, for me, I made things really clear when I started dating Mia that it wasn't going to be that relationship. Now, I have supported her family somewhat, but that's just on my own. They didn't ask. I just decided to step in and do stuff for them at certain points because of stuff happening in their lives. But they never asked me because they know if they ask me, it'll just be a blank no. Brian, it's not as you described. It's oftentimes cooler in the Philippines than it is in Houston. Plenty of towns to cool. Yep. Yes. Like you can go up to Baguio, for example. The weather is more cold there. Actually, when I went to Baguio, I had to wear a jacket. It was cold. It was cold at night. Most women would rather share a 5% guy than be saddled to a faithful beta. Yeah, that's something you learn also in the rational male. Good point there. So as an alpha male, you know, girls would rather share an alpha male than be with a beta guy. And I've seen that over and over again. They call it beta providers. And they just provide money and a home for the girl. And she's out having fun with other guys behind their backs. So, and I see it often in not often, I see it here in relationships as well. I see those type of guys that act in such a better way and give money. And I look at the girls and I look at the way they talk to them, the way they're around them, and I can see there's no attraction whatsoever. It's like they're just there for the money, just there for the lifestyle, and that's you don't want that. You absolutely don't want that. Marriage is good, but both have to be the same page. Snake on both sides of the equation. Yep, true. But in the West, it's more on the women. 80% of all divorces are initiated by women in the West. Oh, police. Mia is a 4. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Anthony. Mia 3. Take her, Paul. Paul should be afraid of men snapping up Mia. No, I'm not really. I'm red-pilled, and if you don't understand what that means, read The Rational Male. And I'm not. I know I have lots of options, so if Mia disappears out of my life, it's sad because I do love her, but hey, there's other women out there. Stop playing auntie. It cost me 1.5 million, so I'm leery of marriage. 1.5 million, dude. Ugh. Stop lying. Okay, auntie seems to be in her own message here. A man gets married hoping his wife will never change. A woman gets married hoping to change her husband. On the first case, yes. On the second case, no. It depends on you as a person. A lot of times I do marry a person and try to change them, which is the worst thing you can do. National Main is good for Mia to read also. I think so. I think it's good for her to read and understand what I understand about women and understand men. Mia is medium. Oh, God. Okay, Auntie, that's your perspective. My perspective is different. So we all have different perspective of beauty, and we all have different perspective of a personality. For me, she is what I want. So, but thank you for your observation. Mia, solid natural 7. Oh, okay, guys, let's not start judging Mia whether she's a 5 or a 7 or a 9. She is who she is, and I love her for who she is. A woman gets married because society told her she should. I think a lot of women get married for security. Is PCR test a big deal? No, but if you take a PCR test and they're not all reliable, and you should get a positive, it might be a false positive. Guess what? You have to spend 14 days in some hotel quarantined. I'm not going to do that, so I don't want to take a PCR test. Okay, Auntie, are you a man or a woman? Okay, Auntie, you're going to have to stop with this, otherwise I'm going to have to put you in timeout. Lake Life, thank you for your response. Okay, that's him talking to another. Be careful. Be careful choosing a lawyer because they can scam you. Yep. Paul is red pilled as fuck. I guess so. I was like never wanting to get married, but I had to get married to bring her back to the UK. It's one of the best things I ever did. Good for you. I wonder how long you've been married. Um, I'm British by birth, so but I haven't been to England. Oh God, when was the last time I was in England? More than 30 years ago. So I'd love to go back. Women always grade women poorly. A natural 7 is better than a snobby, dumb 9 or 10. Completely agreed. Okay, that's enough of that. What salary will you be looking for when you go back to work, Paul? How much USD per year? Anything above 120. So the oil industry is down. I used to make more, but 120 would do it for me. Sorry, that's my phone. A G of mine from China, 20, just lost her virginity at age 14. What? Oh, she lost her virginity at 14. Yeah. Is an LDR relationship when you have never met? To me, no. Some people say yes, I say no. Because you really don't know that person. You really, really don't. You think you do. Because I've been there, done that, and I know from meeting people here after talking to them for several months. This is before my red pill journey. It's just different when you meet them in person. It really is. You see things that you don't see online, even on camera. You just notice little things. Your body and your gut tells you something. So I say no. I mean, you can talk to people, but everything's closed right now. So what's the point of talking to a person? If you're going to come here and meet a person, talk to them 1 or 2 months before you come down. That's all you need to do. And then once you come down, you meet them in person and line up 2 or 3, 4 people to meet if you're planning to go back, So you can, because I guarantee you, at least 50% of them, you won't have any type of chemistry or you just won't. Yes, tattoos are a red flag, but Depends on the tattoo. If it's a small tattoo on the shoulder or somewhere hidden, I think that's not a red flag. But if it's tattoo all over the whole body, it's more of a red flag. But it also depends on the society you're in. If tattoos has an accepted thing, but yeah. I don't know what that. I don't know what that meant. I think these guys are talking to each other here. Okay. Oh God, I'm so behind. I'm gonna jump over those frozen ones. I mean, we met in China a few times. Japan sex was great, but lately she's been emotionally abusing me. I'm done with her. Yeah, you get any type of abuse online, just block them. I love when she calls you babe. But thanks to her, I've fallen in love with learning Mandarin. I'll be fluent in 2 years. So I'm guessing you want to move to China. I heard Chinese girls are not all that. Um, just my phone keeps ringing here. Let me see if this is important or not. Malaysia. Okay. Looks like Mia is just a brownout. Oh my God, I'm so behind. Hey guys, I'm gonna go on to 15 past, and I'm gonna I have to take this call because we went dark. Okay. Daryl from Australia. Some things are long-term partner to the table, sharing great times, an amazing experience, sharing simple pleasures like breakfast over a cup and chat, 3 great feelings during sex. Good points. Good points. I gotta admit, Filipinos have a great personality, always smiling. General statement from Minds Up. Yeah, Filipinas are actually great girls. I mean, some of you don't know me, but I've lived in Europe, I've lived in the Middle East, I've lived here, and I've lived in the US, and I've traveled a lot of places in the world. And I would say, without a doubt, from all the girls I've met, Filipinas are absolutely the best. Absolutely. Uh, Mia, when Paul freezes, just jump in and start talking. You can do it. Yeah, she's a bit shy when she's alone. 4, foregoing memories together. 5, caring for someone else as much as you care for yourselves. Growing and changing together. All good points, man. All good points. Mia, we don't just tune in to watch Paul talking. We want to hear you speaking, so jump in. Well, Brian, she's got a brownout now, so she's not coming back. That's one of the things of living in Dumageddon. It's always freaking brownouts. Planned and unplanned brownouts. Divorce can happen after 25 years because of his wife going through a midlife crisis. Yep. Live more life. My opinion, you get married to have kids. If you don't want to have kids, why would you get married? Well, I think this guy above here mentioned a lot of good points. I forgot your name. Uh, um, he mentioned many good points. So there are some good points of being together, not necessarily marriage, but long term. Yes, it did at our house. 3-day alone time. That'll be an interesting discussion. Well, I've had more than 3 weeks alone time here. It's not that interesting. Chat is so great. Forgot to hit thumbs up. Marriage will never marry again. No upside for men. Hey guys, if you do me a great favor, if you hit the thumbs up, that helps my YouTube channel. Marriage is also religious and important to some on that basis. Yeah, for religious people, due to their religion, it's important. I'm not religious, so for me, that doesn't play a role. Mark says foreigners can't own land in the Philippines. That's true. So if you get married and buy a house, it doesn't matter what the deed says. She can kick you out anytime she wants. Absolutely true. And that's why I strongly say not to buy here. Even condos, I think twice about. You can lease the land for 50 years. That you can do, but if you're married, I can guarantee you, you're not getting the house. how you are not the marrying type, but she doesn't have her whole life to wait and have kids to a real permanent guy, according to her societal family definition. Okay, that's her choice. Good prenup also feature monthly post-nup affirmations by both parties for the first 6 months or so to dismiss any aspect of coercion. I didn't know monthly. I knew one after 1 or 2 or 3 months after the marriage would be a good thing. I didn't know that you should do it monthly. I just watched your last 2 videos. You could help them rent a lot of condos. Should get a discount on your rent. I should, yeah. You're right. But I have no agreements with them. I just kind of want to show you guys what's available here. And you guys said I'm new to my channel. My channel is a bit about everything, a bit about travel, a bit about dating advice, a bit about me and Mia, life in general. So there's a bit of everything there for everybody. Do you think it's okay to ask Philippine to go on the pill, or would she just freak out? That's a good question. The other question you should ask yourself: if she really likes you and wants a kid, she can forget to take the pill, right? And that happens in the West, and I guarantee you it will happen here too. So I wouldn't trust that. It's a way for you to help yourself, but I would be really, really careful, man. I don't know. That's a dangerous road to go down. That's a really dangerous. You lose control at that point. Are you both on the same lane? Is there something amiss? I mean, I've told Mia my criteria for being in a long-term relationship, and she's accepted that criteria. I've told her also that might change everything except marriage. Children thing might change, marriage will not. So if she accepts that criteria, that's what she has. That's up to her. If she changes her mind, that's up to her too. Have to go, Paul. Enjoy your channel. Take care. Regards. My bed is calling. Thank you, Mikey Mickey. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit the thumbs up. Rich Cooper, The Unplugged Alpha. Correct, Mr. Vegas. The Unplugged Alpha, a book that I read. It's an easy read, and I think it's available on audio now. And it's a very, very. I like the book. It's more. The Rational Male is a really good book, but the Unplugged Alpha is more condensed and to the point. And I enjoyed reading that. I've read both, and I enjoyed the Unplugged Alpha a lot more. But I would still read both books. I read both books. Unplugged Alpha, yes, yes. I know the feeling, been there, done that. Would you consider living in the Philippines for years? Yes, absolutely. I haven't tried Malaysia and I haven't tried Vietnam, and I'm wanting to try those. So unless I go back to work, I'm probably heading to Malaysia and Vietnam once things open up, and just spend maybe 6 months in each just to see, and then make a decision at that point. I'm sure Mia would love to have a child with you, Paul. She would cherish that child. Yeah, tell me about it. I know she would. She says it'll be so guapo. He or she will be so guapo. If a girl told me she's on the pill, I assume she's lying. I've been pulling out successfully in potential 2003. Yeah, doing both pill and pull out is probably the best. Gotta love it when she's on the pill. Paul, as you know, there are a million Filipino girls here as single mothers. Yes. Mia wants a child. It is what all young Filipino girls want. If you die or leave her in the future to follow. Well, if that's what she wants, she knows my opinion on it. So she's free to do what she wants. I have told her I'm still thinking about it, and I will make a decision probably within the next 12 months. But for now, the answer is no. I'm guessing it's a short trip to pull out. No, come on, guys. Seriously. She'll be okay looking after your child. Yeah, I see. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 10 or 11. I basically stopped seeing my dad except for a short period, and I really missed having a father in my life. Hey guys, I'm just gonna take this real quick. I gotta take it. Hey, can you call back in 30 minutes? I'm on a conference call. Would that be okay? Okay, thank you. Okay, bye bye. Sorry, that's the guy for the condo calling, so I just had to say I'm on a conference call. uh, no, I pull out porn star style. Oh, God. Come on, guys. Every man who got a girl pregnant pulling out was drunk or didn't pull out. There isn't enough volume and brain. Yeah. But if he's done it successfully for years, I'd just be careful, man. It also depends when you pull out, right? Is it a second before or 10 seconds before? That's a big deal. You're talking about the rainy season. From what I've seen on videos, a lot of people use umbrellas. Why don't they wear ponchos? I don't know. Umbrella is easier, I guess. He's frozen solid. Chicks can get prego with a pre-cum. I've researched this scientifically, and the results bear it out in my own life. Condoms, to me, are riskier because they break. Well, you can do both. Condom and pull out. And pill. Secure. Okay. Umberser, diagnostic radiologist. You can believe what you want. I would send you a pic of CT. I'm interested in that if I could. What? Mel A. The married women here in NYC area and Litchfield County most of them never stepped inside a college, let alone a university, yet they take their husbands to the cleaners on divorce. Yeah, they all talk to each other, what lawyer to use and everything. Hey guys, I'm going to call it quits. I'm not going to be able to get through all of these relationships. All these comments. Jenny Morena, in a relationship, need to have both space or else going to be suffocated each other. However, Filipina is most loving and caring through thick and thin. Just look for the right one. Yes, agreed. Variety is a spice of life. Why would you marry? Too many beautiful Filipinas running around. Yeah. Filipina Life with Mia says she loves me. I love you too, babe. Thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing. She's your 10. Yes, she is. Red pills. I take the deep red myself. Good for you, Maple Leaf. I think red pill is growing exponentially because it's basically a way of us understanding the innate way women are, deep inside, what drives them. Red pill is living reality. Blue pill is zombified like 95% of the population. That's one way of putting it. But, you have to remember it's not zombified. It's 40, it depends on your age, 30, 40, 50 years of programming, watching TV. You watch TV today, they always make fun of men. Men are stupid or dumbasses, and women, they're so smart, and they're never the joke in a movie anymore. It's always the man. The man is the stupid person. Yet it was the men who came up with all the inventions, the men who built the bridges, invented the phones, invented the tablets, invented the chips that goes into your computers. It was men who did all that. Who are working in the coal mines today? It's men. Who are picking up the trash? It's men. Who's building houses? It's men. And yet they make fun of them. It's just disgusting in the West the way they treat men. Really, it is. Sorry, I went off on a tandem there. Sorry about that. Welcome back, Mia. You got this, guys. I am gonna call it quits. American women are the least wanted nowadays. Harassment lawsuits by USA women, they're no longer an asset. Nah, they're no longer an asset. I don't know why you'd want to be with an American woman, to be honest. Some men are so disrespectful. Some Filipino, they won't talk so much. You're disrespecting like crap when old, young, I have a feeling. Yeah, no need to be disrespectful. Completely agreed. Women spend years and years trying to change their boyfriend or husband. Then when they do change them, they wonder what happened to the man they were with. True. Anyway, guys, I am going to call it quits. It's 10:20. I've been going for an hour and 20 minutes. So thank you for everybody joining me. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. There's a lot of good content coming. There's going to be more travel vlogs. There's going to be more just red pill talking, and there's going to be a lot of different content on my channel. So if you would subscribe, like, comment, and share. So that really helps me. Thank you for everybody for joining me, and I'll see you on the next live cast, which will be next Monday, Manila time in the morning. I do it every Monday, so I'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.